Hello, guys. Um, Today I wanted to talk about whatever you feel now, and um, I'm really happy of being now here and having you. So let's start with the topic. So um, so yesterday I actually went and did an exam that was physics, and it didn't go well. Felt like a bit busted, but it's not a problem because a lot of questions I knew them, so I managed to do this to do the exam well. I'm a bit um, I'm under exams now, but it's not a problem. I want the first. So the first question was, are you under exam or um, what are you doing now? So in this period, I've also read like I also managed to read like um, 8 books this year. Um, Counting the last one that I read was about Chinua Achebe. I actually managed to read 9, and most of them they were really interesting books. And um, the fact is that it's the first time that I read so many English books, and I'm really happy about that. Um, so um, about the books that I've read 2 books about philosophy and about reasoning, and they were actually really 2 interesting books. And the first one was about the Western philosophy, and this Western philosophy was written by Bertrand Russell, and Bertrand Russell is a philosopher that lived in the 19th in the 20th century, and he actually was the first person that has written um, of philosophy as a synthesis. So he tried to synthesize the history of philosophy from uh, the ancient Greece, and from the Sumerian period, going through the Greece period till today. So the most interesting part of the book was about the strength of the church in the medieval ages, and the effect that the church had on the entire society at that time. And so that was a really interesting book, and I really would love to read it again. Then what else can I say? Well, today I'm actually really happy because I've done um, I've done like an exam that was a bit difficult, but I actually managed to do it, and it was about core maths, which isn't really difficult, but it's you know, maths has always been like um, a black beast for me, but it's actually turning out to be something so beautiful and something that I really appreciate doing. And what else? So thank you that you're watching, and um, if if you could ask me a question, I would gladly answer. So do you have any questions? Okay. Let's try something. So, what is my favorite thing that happened this year? So, my favorite thing that happened this year, and I really love to hear it from you guys. Too. Okay, my favorite thing that happened this year is that I moved to another house completely, because before I was living with my grandparents, and so now I can do a lot of things, a lot more things, like, and I can enjoy listening to music without anyone that is there just bothering me, or with my grandparents that come there and they say, please lower the volume, and it's wonderful. So actually, the other thing is that I have an entire garden where I can actually relax and meditate. So I really love this. This is one of the best things, and that happened this year. Uh, the other thing that I really like about this year is that even if it is controversial, I really like the fact that there was a lockdown, because it actually changed a lot of things in my life, and it made me think differently, and it's a new experience. So it's something that actually um, I'm looking forward to, not in the in not not in this in not with like the problem of a virus going around, going and kill people, but it's something new. So I'm really happy about that. And those experiences, even if they are ugly, they can also help us grow a lot. So yeah. So that's also why I managed to read this many books and grow so much, and I'm really happy about that. Next thing that I wanted to talk about is so next year I'm really planning. So next year I'm really planning on doing something that is actually new. So I'm going to start going to the university, and that's a really big change, because from the from the high school system to the university, obviously there is a gap. So I'm happy that I will actually overcome this gap, and I'm just looking forward to understand and see this new world that is so much talked about, and that is actually so that is actually praised by so many people. And um, so the other thing that I would like to do is take a learner's license. So that is on my plans, and also um, like work on my personal growth and on myself, in the sense that I want to increase my knowledge of mathematics, and of science, and of biology, and boost them up. So yeah, that's also another thing that I like to do. And the other thing that I love to do um, is that next year I'm already planning of doing a trip in around the country where I live now, which is Namibia. And it's a country that was initially founded by uh, the San people, and it wasn't seen as a country since the Portuguese and the Germans essentially came here and created this set of land that now is called Namibia. And um, the thing is that I haven't seen a lot of Namibia, even though I've been here since I was born, and I'd love to go and see the Damara land and all the side with the where the Ovambo people live in the north, and also the Skeleton Coast that is actually one of the most famous parts and sides and coast sides in this part of Africa. So yeah. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to make so many great pictures. And yeah, you have to see, you have to keep watching because this is going to grow like exponentially. I don't know. I know exactly what I'm going to do, and this is one of my first experiments. I'm happy that there is at least one viewer, and I'm really happy that you're watching now. And so already this is a big change in my channel because it's my first live video, and there are gonna be more, and maybe I'm going to invite also some people in my live videos. So there is another question that I wanted to answer is um, so the books that I would like to read are um, about the about Michael Kundera. That is actually one of my favorites, and it's one of my favorite writers, and um, that is one of the writers that I'm looking forward to read. Not one of my favorites, but it's one of the writers that I'm looking forward to read. And then I'd like to read a South African book written by a South African, and I'd like to understand more about the place where I live now. And also another book that I would like to read is another book by Cesare Pavese, which is an Italian writer. And this year I've read this book, and this book I actually recommend it a lot because it actually explains a lot about Italy and about the situation after the war. But especially it's something that it's so memorable because it represents the land where I once lived and where I once lived. So this book is actually really good, and the descriptions are just as memorable as the story and as everything in the book. So yeah, but I recommend to read this book, especially for the descriptions. So So the other book that I want to read about Pavese is the I dialoghi con Leuco, which are those dialogues with which is called in English dialogues with Leuco, and it is a beautiful book about Greek mythology, and it's all centered on the existence on and on the question of and on many questions that have been already um, that have already been sent a clue for many Greek novels and Greek and also Italian um, and Latin words. So after I've read these books, I would like um, to create like um, some writings or actually do some works about the books that I've read and creating something of my own. And that's what I always do after I've read a book. So I always like writing about a theme that I found interesting in the book, but in my own way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So bye guys. So thank you for being here, and good luck or all the best.